So this is a little overview of a little program I made called the DCS unit tester. The idea here is basically to create an automated way of running through basic tests for a lot of aircraft to find regression issues happening with new patches. Basically to find things like this weapon just doesn't work. this, the targeting pod's not laser designating anymore, things like that. So there's basic summary here on the GitHub page, but I'm just going to walk you through how it works right now. So first of all, we have our test mission. In this one, we have a F-18C Hornet in the rear here, and 2 helicopters in front. This is an AIM-9 test mission, and so this test is going to test the bore sight mode, so this helicopter is right in front of me at co-altitude, and also test the radar slaving the AIM-9. So there's another one here about 20 degrees to the right, up at 4,000 feet. Now, in most missions that you make as a test, you will have a set active pause trigger at the start. That way the player aircraft does not move, and any flight model changes that happen to the aircraft in patches will not affect the test. This is also important because the longer you fly around, the more chance of a track desynchronization. So by turning this off, the tracks are much more reliable. Second, we initialize the networking, which lets it talk to the main control script and let it know whether the test succeeded or not. And the final trigger on mission end that runs on mission end.lua, and this is a script that basically looks at every red unit, and if every single one of them is damaged, then that's a successful test. And that's pretty good catch-all for most of the weapon tests. So the idea is, you'll go in, you'll fly, you'll shoot the 2 aircraft, one using bore and one slaving your radar, well, your radar slaving your AIM-9, and killing this one. Then you save that as a track. Then the system will basically replay those tracks every time a patch comes out. You'll run it manually, and it'll basically report whether the assertion succeeded. So let's show that. So I'll go over here, and I'll back out of the mission editor. Okay. And we'll run the F-18C AIM-9 bore and single target track tests. So you can see here it's going through 1 out of 3. I've got a lot of tests for the Hornet in here right now. As you can see here, for like AIM-9, you've got the high bore sight tests, and that'll test the AIM-9X on all the different rail types. And you can go, there we go, it's starting. So it automatically starts the track, and you can see track replaying with me successfully using the weapon. And so that's one hit, and the second one's hit. So then the track automatically ends because they're always a fixed length. Like once you record it's 15 seconds, it always ends. And there we go, it's ended. Over here, the testers shows that 2 targets survived, they were both damaged, and so that was a successful test. So now it's going to run to the AIM-9M test, just did the AIM-9L. Let me just time accelerate through this. And okay, that one succeeded. Now we're on to the AIM-9X. Time accelerate through this. Alright, so all tests succeeded. So now what I'm going to do is simulate a patch breaking a weapon. You can see I use the quit DCS on finish, so it automatically quits it. So enabling my mod that breaks the AIM-9L. Now I'm going to run it again. And so it recognizes DCS isn't running right now, so it handles starting DCS. Then once it detects it's on the main menu, it'll load the track and then start waiting for the mission to send back its response. So for the Hornet, I've got a lot of tests in here right now, and they're pretty easy to create. Most of them are just for the weapon tests, creating your enemy units, and then getting your aircraft ideally in active pause and engaging them in the shortest amount of steps and time possible, just to make it run faster. But yeah, it can automate a lot of things. In the cockpit, for example, entering pre-planned waypoints for the AGM-154 JSOW, being able to test both variants and test all the different rack types. Sometimes different bugs happen when they're loaded on a certain rack, and it can just run through those. So there we go. Just finished, detected DCS had finished loading. Now it's loading the first track. And let's see if this test succeeds. And this is why it'd be nice having a empty water map in the game, just so you can load in little scenes faster when you test things, because even though this is in the middle of the Black Sea, it still, I think, would take longer than a completely empty map. Alright, so the mission's done. Alright, so here we are. The AIM-9 has been modded so that it basically can pull 0.1 Gs maximum. So you can see, basically can't turn to even hit something right ahead of it. So the missile's bugged, so that one missed. I locked my radar onto the second one. The second AIM-9L missed. And the track's going to end because it hits the timeout. There we go. And test failed. Both units had full life. So you could do these tests with anything you can quantifiably measure in the mission scripting environment. So this was a really easy one for all the weapon tests, because you're just killing units and you can just check, did the unit get damaged? Then the test succeeded. But you can also do tests for things like, did the aircraft arrive in a certain zone? Like you could test the autopilot or things like that. It just takes getting creative, but ideally, the simpler the test, the better, the less chance of it going wrong for some other reason. And so far this has been reliable on 6 or 7 versions of DCS, and it's shown me a couple of things that changed, like when the AIM-120 aiming error come in, it spotted that, and I realized that was a problem, reported that, so it has helped spot some things like that. But yeah, right now Hornet only, but having go through 87 tests, which is what I have configured for the moment, of everything from, look at the JDAM, there's all these variants. And I did not, if you're testing this manually, I did not want to regression test 7 variants of the JDAM, typing in 8 character coordinates. Anyway, there we go. So now it's finished all the tests and shows which one failed. You can see AIM-9L, and now this means we should start looking at that and testing it manually and seeing why this failed. And if it's a false positive because it failed for some other reason, track desynchronized, then it's really easy to re-record the test and get a new fresh one. All right, thanks.